Hey guys. This is like a mini lunch update with Mrs. D because I loaded Kamala Khan and Multiverse of Madness reactions already. And then, really true to form, I load something and then an announcement occurs. And I'm now just going to play that game and I'm going to make videos and then they're going to announce things. It's going to be tremendous. So, since I talked about the Multiverse of Madness potentiality, because there's been some odd rumors going around, because we have nothing else better to do with our time either. If I was Marvel, I would just be leaking a million rumors because it'll keep people kind of occupied for a few months. Like we're hoping December 2020 for WandaVision, and that's going to be it. Like we haven't had anything in so long. Anyway, interesting news. So though you guys are mostly young, my students, you may have watched the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies, but you weren't necessarily like, that wasn't your generation of Spider-Man. I get it. It was ours. Like, we had Spider-Man. And I have a soft spot in my heart for those. And despite having a soft spot in my heart for them, haven't rewatched them much. Like, to me, they got replaced, you know? Like, I had seen them when I was younger, and I wasn't going to keep rewatching them necessarily. I just recently rewatched Spider-Man 2 with Doc Ock, and I was like, this is actually really tremendous. And if they have to bring back, like, a Spider-Man villain, really, Doc Ock, we need him back. Anyway, so the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man I really liked, and I thought they were doing a good job with those movies, and then he got replaced by Tom Holland because of the whole shift around with ownership and borrowing rights between Sony and the MCU. So Electro is coming back. They have confirmed, not just Electro the character, because they've done that before. You know, they've had characters in other movies and then they've recasted them here. Like there was a year of two Quicksilvers because they had a Quicksilver in Fox and they had a Quicksilver in Avengers. So they've done it before. But this isn't just Electro coming back. This is Jamie Foxx's Electro coming back, confirmed in the MCU. So the next Spider-Man movie will have Electro. And that means that, well, actually, what does it mean is the really big question. The biggest question mark here is how much of the previous material is now real, like inside the MCU universe. We've all wondered it, because it's a practical thing, right? If you're going to try to use, like, Patrick Stewart as Professor X, do you say all of the events of the movies he was previously in occurred? I mean, and given Logan, how can you? So there's real trouble to trying to steal some of the better parts of the previous movies and bring them in, because what does it do to the timelines? Deadpool makes fun of this all the time in his movies. The bringing in of Electro in conjunction with the J. Jonah, blah, blah, the consistency between the actor and the character who was previously in all of the Spider-Man movies, and now we have Electro and Jamie Foxx. It seems that in Multiverse of Madness, which could potentially have far-reaching effects to all Phase 4 and Phase 5 movies, like it is possible that over the course of the next, call it 4 to 5 years, all or most of the movies we get are touched by the idea of the multiverse, where we could be having a Spider-Man movie and it deals with Electro coming in from another world. We could get a live-action Spider-Verse where they bring in, like, alternate universe Peter Parker and alternate universe Miles Morales and Spider-Gwen. I'm here for Spider-Gwen. I want her. It's very likely, I think, given the fact that WandaVision is now going to be the first drop. Originally, it was not. Black Widow was. It was Black Widow and then Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and then WandaVision was sort of starkly right before Multiverse of Madness. And they keep saying that WandaVision's going to very much be involved in Multiverse of Madness, which made sense, given the title is Multiverse of Madness. But here's some more interesting things. So Sam Raimi, who directed the Tobey Maguire movies, has been brought back in to do Spider-Man again. And he did really good Spider-Man movies until they tried to force him to use Venom, which he didn't want to use and kind of screwed up the whole movie. Anyway, Sam Raimi knows him some Spider-Man, and he's already used like Green Goblin, he's used Doc Ock. It's interesting, we could kind of get a Sinister Six thing going on here, but there was some whispers that like Sony really wanted to keep Sinister Six, but who knows. Raimi's a great choice to put back at the helm of Spider-Man, but also is kind of now a really big tease that we could be integrating in like Tobey Maguire Peter Parker and having him meet Tom Holland Peter Parker. And yes, come on, Tobey, what else are you doing? The other thing that's kind of interesting to me is logically, we always were going to have to fill certain shoes. In a post-Endgame world, you lost some of the leaders of the gang, right? We've done a lot with Thor where we kind of can't keep introducing too much in the way of new storylines. Like, he can be a great supporting character, but we kind of need other people to reinvigorate that plot line. And I love me some Thor. Do not take this as a negative criticism of the Thor movies. You need something to be done with Captain America. We have like Falcon and Winter Soldier going on that, U.S. Agent, Thunderbolts. It's all going to be really good. You need someone to replace Tony Stark. Your Iron Man role was kind of a multifaceted role. Yes, he was like a moral leader. There were certain people who agreed with Tony and how Tony did things. Tony was clearly a financial leader. He bankrolled the Avengers. And he was a tech leader. Like, he was responsible for evolving a lot of the tech that made them superhero-y. So this was all very important. And with him gone, what do? We don't need Pepper Potts running this. I mean, she can bankroll us fine. Pepper's going to be very liberal with the checkbook. But you need someone who's going to be your heir to the tech throne. In Spider-Man Far From Home, they had those sequences with Peter Parker where he seemed to be a logical heir to the throne. You have Shuri, who is another logical heir to the throne. But you need somebody who's more mature than them, who's older, to take over the leadership role. They can be like the innovative role, but they need a leadership role. You also need this from Cap, but the great thing about Iron Man and Cap is that when the team gets really big, you can kind of divide up the leadership. Like, there was like a home team and an away team. You need, in a team as large scale as the Avengers, a couple of people who are like on equal footing in terms of leadership. It looks like Stephen Strange is going to be that, because they have just confirmed that Stephen Strange will be in the next Spider-Man movie. So you have Electro, and you have Stephen Strange, and you have Sam Raimi directing. It's going to be really intense. And why does Stephen Strange care about Peter Parker? The answer is he doesn't, because he's Stephen Strange. Stephen Strange doesn't care about anything. Well, he does, but he's the coldest part of Tony Stark is Stephen Strange all the time. Like, Stephen Strange knows he's amazing. He knows that he's right. And he's got very limited patience for all of us not catching up to his level right now. He's going to inevitably develop some soft spots for some of the members on the team, but what reasoning is there really for him to adopt Spider-Man at this point, like to become pseudo-daddy figure? When Tony Stark well did that role, it's likely that the reason he's there has something to do with the crumbling fissures between realities, a result of the multiverse of madness. It's supposed to be a multiverse, not the Spider-Man, is being sold as a horror movie right now. So please put Sam Raimi in charge of it. But for a horror movie, and then to have sort of long-standing implications, and to have WandaVision be the thing we lead it off with, really implies that Wanda is like this Omega-level world-ending mutant who has broken reality, and lots of things have come in through the cracks. This has got to be how we get mutants. It just has to be. Anyway, here's hoping that now that I've said that, they now introduce something else for me to talk about, and maybe something more entertaining. This has been Mrs. D and Lunchtime with Mrs. D. Catch you guys on the flip side.